my channel. I am using this little mic, and I hope the sound picks up on it. I just purchased an iPhone 15 Pro, and I have not found an adapter yet that can fit my Yeti. My shadow in the back is driving me crazy, but oh god. Okay, so it just started raining, so my daughter might come flying in the room. So I'm gonna try to not make this video too long, but it's thundering and lightning, so she will most likely come in here. So we just got back from my oldest daughter's house. I just hung out there. We went to like a farmer's market, and her friend from college was here visiting, who I absolutely love, and we just hung out. And then me, my daughter's husband, and myself, we were all watching Love is Blind. And I cannot wait to next week to the reunion. Like, I already finished it. I binged it like last week, but they weren't caught up, so I watched it with them. So, and then I came home. It's late. It's like 1 a.m. My mom is always like, you can't just be over there all the time. And I'm like, I understand that. And I'm very mindful of that. I'm always like, ask him if he minds if I'm over. But usually it's like on the weekends I hang out with her because he works on the weekends, and then I help her with the kids. And then, like I said in another video, my daughter is 9. My youngest daughter is 9. And then my oldest daughter, her kids, my grandkids, my granddaughter just turned 4 last week, I think, or 2 weeks. And then my grandson is going to be 3 in July. So it's like 9, 4, and 3. So they all play really well together, and it's like a win-win for everybody because guess what? I'm old, and on the weekends, my daughter's like, "What are we doing?" And she always wants to go there, and plus, I always love to be with them. So I do help, like, with her and them on the weekends. Like, she always wants to get them out of the house, and it's too much with them because my grandson is a lot. And I said this already in other videos, so I'm not gonna go too much into it, but I think it's like, I don't know, like, we're always just saying he's bad, but I think it's just he's a boy. So yes. And then I picked them up during the week to help too. So I'm like, Mom, like, I'm not just like, I don't know, whatever. We are different parents, my mom and I, so like she doesn't get it. But anyway, I really wanted to just do like another Ramble because I wanted, I think not the last video, but one of the last videos I made, I talked about my ex and the scandal and drama with him, and I do want to make a video of how I met my husband, but in this video I'm going to be talking about another idiot I dated. Well, actually, so this guy, I don't really consider myself have dated him, so I'm just gonna get right into it. We met online, and at the time I was living in New York, and he was from Chicago. Okay, I don't remember what website. It could have been like Plenty of Fish or like Black People Meet, Black Planet. I don't remember. And I thought from his picture he was good looking, but I was like, I'm in New York, he's in Chicago, like whatever. And we literally would just like talk on the phone, text. I wouldn't hear from him for like years, and then we would talk again. was going on for a minute. I want to say 10 years. I want to say it was that long. We were like back and forth talking. Okay. I moved to Florida and I'm not dating. Like, I'm not really dating not anything serious, anyone seriously. He hits me up and he's like, I'm gonna be in Florida for work or whatever. I don't know. And I want to meet up with you. And I'm like, okay, like, cool. Like, we've been talking forever. I felt like I knew him at this point, right? So he came to my house. Like, he picked me up from downstairs and was like, do you want to go eat? So I went downstairs. I met him, and I remember like going downstairs and seeing him and was like, oh, he's handsome. And he was like, my type, which, okay, alright, so I stopped having a type because my type got me nowhere, but back then he was what I would consider my type, which was tall, and like, I'm 5'4", but I was always like drawn to like guys who were like over 6 feet and like heavy. He wasn't heavy, but like either muscular or damn near fat. And I don't know, I feel like it was more about like me just being like feeling protected, and just being like, I don't know, just like big. So, and it didn't matter if you were fit or not. So this guy was actually fit and about 6'3", 6'4", something like that. So I come downstairs and I'm like, oh, he's cute. I'm feeling good about this because we've been talking for like on and off for years about what we want in a relationship. And we were always seemed to be like on the same path. Okay, so we go eat. But immediately, when we get in the car, I notice his breath is horrible. And it didn't smell like I need a mint. It was like something's going on. We have an ulcer. Like, there's a deep problem. I don't know if you've ever been in the car with someone and their breath was so bad that you were just like I literally felt like I was like this the whole time, like with my head this way and like with damn near out the window. So I'm like, okay, girl, we go eat, and he was silly. Okay, like I don't know, just like immature, silly. I don't know if it was like a nervous. I don't know if it was like a nervous, silly, or what. My daughter was getting out of I don't know, she was like got out of school, was at a friend's house. Okay, so obviously at this time I did not have Dallas, my baby. It was just my oldest daughter. She was in high school, okay? So she just got out of like practice after school and she was at her friends, and then he was like, why don't she come with us? We went to the movies. So me and him went to dinner. And then she came with us to the movies, okay? And everything was fine, whatever. And then the next day, he was like, hey, do you guys want to go to Universal? I think it was Universal. I don't think it was Disney. It was definitely Universal because my daughter worked there. Okay. Yes. So we went there. And I remember, like, the whole time we were there, I didn't like him. Like, I was like, oh, he was rubbing me the wrong way. I literally can't even pinpoint it, like what he was doing. And honestly, this was years ago. But I just remember like him being really goofy, really silly, and just me not being attracted to him. He also would be commenting a lot on women in the park, okay, like their physique. Um, he would stare a lot at women, and I would find that extremely rude. And so I would be talking to him, and a girl would walk by, and he would just be like at her ass, and he would do that all the time. So I was like, bro, like whatever, like I know that I'm not lacking back there, and I was fit then, so I don't know what his problem was. I just felt like he was being a douche, and I didn't like that he was also doing that in front of my kid, and she was very like aware of what was going on, okay, because she's in high school, she's not a dummy. And I literally can't pinpoint everything else, but I remember sitting with her and being like, yeah, I'm not feeling this. Like, I really thought that once we met, we would click and da 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 da, but I don't like him. Like, I was feeling like disrespected, right? So we go around the park, and then we leave, and then he wanted to come back to my house. And I said, fine. Why? I don't know. But we did. We were sitting on my balcony. I think we were like having wine. No, I don't. I think I was making like margaritas or something like that. We're making drinks. We were sitting out there, and then he called his cousin. His cousin is a female. Who the hell knows who he was calling? Okay, and he's going on about how he felt like he was on a double date with me and my daughter, and how I was ignoring him. And I was like, bro, like, that's not at all what happened. Like, I felt like you were being super distant. You weren't really saying much. I felt like I was always like pulling for conversation, because I know like when someone comes to visit you, they're like, they don't know people there. He's spending money. Like, I'm not gonna be a dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to see if there was some chemistry, or if not, we could at least be cool, be friends, right? So he's going on and on and on. I'm drinking, he's drinking. The conversation's going absolutely nowhere. We get into this argument, and I don't remember like the details of the argument, but I remember he leaves. He comes back because he left like his laptop, and he leaves, and I'm like, good riddance. The next day, my daughter goes to school, and I'm in bed. I hear a knock at the door. It's the police. So I'm like, what's up? They're like, yeah, are you so and so? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, we just got like an anonymous tip that you made a threat to bomb this apartment complex. I was like, excuse me. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, wait, you're joking, right? Like, literally, I was like, wait, what? I don't, you're joking. From what? From who? He was like, we just got like an anonymous tip, like someone reached out to, I guess, like my apartment complex, and my apartment complex called the police. It was this huge thing. I started crying. Um, and then they didn't believe me. So then, okay, they said somebody sent a fax to my complex at like 3 in the morning from Kinko's. details because now this is serious, right? You're talking about a freaking bomb threat. I've never in my life. Okay, what are you doing, sir? Like, I have a child. You're mad because this didn't work out? Like, we got into an argument. Like, clearly, like, we need to go our separate ways. Okay. So I'm like shaking at this point. Okay. My the police leave. I think they come back. Then my apartment complex comes and they give me an eviction notice. Honey, this man got me evicted from my apartment because they thought I did a bomb threat. So the other messed up part about this is that, okay, there was management in my complex that I was so cool with. My daughter was cool with, like everybody in the office I was cool with. They switched and everyone left. They got like a new management company and people left. And I don't know these new people and they don't know me. So they just had to go on what their boss told them, which was I had to go. Not to mention I had a nut living underneath me, okay? Because when I first moved into my apartment complex, I was in a 1 bedroom and I had this dope apartment. Like, my balcony faced a pool. It was just beautiful. But when I first moved to Florida, my daughter did not want to move with me because she said she wanted to stay with her dad and her friends and da da da. So then when that didn't work out, and I'll get into that in another story, and she did end up coming to Florida because I'm like, fine, I'm not gonna put you out in the middle of the school year, whatever. So I moved to Florida in like January, February, and then she came in the summer. So when she came in the summer, I moved in another building to a 2 bedroom. And I never had a problem where I was. So as soon as I moved over to this 2 bedroom, this nut from the minute I walked into my apartment, she had a broom. I could not even walk in my own home. I kid you not. Like, no lie, my husband now, when he would visit me, he would, when my husband would visit me, I would be like, take your shoes off at the door. And then, like, we would get everything we needed from the kitchen at once and just stay in my bedroom all night because anytime I walked out to my bedroom or walked to my daughter's bedroom, she was like with the broom. It was insane. I was like, okay, so something must be going on with the floors in this unit. And I even said something to the people like has she complained about anybody? This is before management switch, and I said, did she complain about the people that lived above her before? And they said no. And I was like, I find that hard to believe. And I'm like, and when I lived in the other apartment on the 3rd floor as well, no one ever complained about me. So it was kind of like it was the most insane thing. So the new management had the complaints about the neighbor about me and then the bomb threat. So I was a complete wreck, okay? So I'm like scrambling to find somewhere and I did. And then ever since I left that apartment complex, I never lived with anyone um underneath me ever again. I said before, like when I first moved here, I was like, I don't want anyone over me. And then after that experience, I was like, you know what? I'd rather people jumping on me. I don't want to be going through this crap with anybody else ever again. I need to be on a 1st floor unit or house, okay? So this Negro got me kicked out of my place. What kind of man does this? What kind of man does this to anybody, let alone someone with a child? I mean, piece of shit for real, okay? Okay, so they're like, you gotta, I don't know, but you gotta go, right? So I'm looking. Now, the way my apartment was, soon as you come up the stairs, uh, okay, so you come up the stairs. I lived on the third floor. My bedroom had like a window right next to it, and then my door was here. So anytime someone walks by my window to get to my front door, I can see them. And I always kept it like my blinds cracked a little bit, like the up way, so I could see like shadow. So I'm laying in bed and I see like a figure go to my door. So I'm like, okay, but no one rings the bell. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I go to the door. I don't say anything. I just look to the people. And it's a guy. It's a man with a baseball cap just standing in front of my door. He doesn't knock. He doesn't ring the bell. He does nothing. Now, he's shorter than the guy that came to see me. Okay. But I was terrified. So I'm literally looking through the people the entire time. Like, I'm staring through the freaking people. And he's just standing there in front of my door. I probably should have called the cops. But I was like in shock. And I was just frozen. And then he left. And then it happened again. One day I was in bed and I saw like a shadow. And when I went to my door and I saw someone, and then I was like, you know what? I'm getting the freak out of here. So I started looking really hard. Then one day I'm in bed with my dog, okay? We're like literally in bed together watching a movie and someone knocks on my door. When someone knocks on my dog starts to bark. So I'm like trying to get him to be quiet, and then I go see who's at the door. And it was like an officer, but an officer that lived at the complex. So, like in Florida, they always have a police officer live in the complex, right? And they're considered like on duty if something happens, right? So he's like, yeah, I got a call about a disturbance. And I'm like, about what? Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, yeah, there have been multiple complaints about your dog barking. I was like, what are you talking about? No one's. I said, well, that's not true. Like, literally at this point, I'm like, what the F? I'm like, that's not true. Like, I don't know if you're making it up or they're making it up, but that's not true. I'm literally in bed watching a movie. It's silent in my house except for my television. He's like, well, I stood outside your door and I was standing here for 10 minutes and I heard the dog barking. I'm like, you're lying. I was like, you're effing lying. Like, I don't know what the is going on, but you're lying. You did not hear a dog barking from my house. I literally am in here quiet watching a movie. So I don't know what's going on. He was like, I was at dinner with my family. Do you think that I wanted to cut my dinner short? Because I get a call about this kind of crap. And I'm like, yo, I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. And it was like within a month, all of this was happening. And I was like, I am getting the F out of here. Like, I was like, I don't know what is going on. And I swear to God, I swear my kids, there was no dog barking. And I said that to the cop. I was like, the only time the dog barked is when you ring my bell. That's it. Why would my dog be barking for 10 minutes in the house? Like, one, I'm considerate of my neighbors, and two, what the hell? Who does that? Like, for no reason, just barking for 10 minutes. Like, sir, you make no sense. Whatever. I went to the apartment complex and they were like, I don't know what's going on, but somebody was complaining. And I'm like, I guarantee you it was this guy. Like, in my head, I'm thinking, because I'm like, who is complaining? Like, who sent the cops to my house? Like, and I'm like, yo, is this kid like that freaking upset that I wasn't feeling him, that he's doing all this stuff? So I got out of there. I just moved. And then I moved to like this one level, like house. And then I never looked back, but I mean, it was like a complete disaster. Like, I've never in my life. And then I was just like, I was always terrified. Oh, I just pushed the button. Oh, but I cut it off. I was like terrified because I was like, what does he know about me? Like, what else could he possibly do? And I knew he had a business. And I was like, I was like, even though he did a horrible thing to me, I was gonna do like write horrible reviews about his business online. But I didn't even do that because you know what? I was like, I am not that. I was just like, I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to be judged by God, and not to be like all super religious or anything like that. But I really do feel like you get what you put back out there, and I don't feel like I deserve that. But I was like, I'm just gonna wipe this person from, like, I don't know, like, that's it. I'm done with him. And I just kind of like left it at that. But it was just like frightening. I've never experienced anything like that ever, 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 ever. And I'm like, he is really vindictive. And yeah. Anyway, oh, like, what an idiot. I was like, yo, like, I feel like, why? I really thought, like, I don't know, I thought he was different. He was like older and he seemed mature and whatever. Anyway, these idiots, like, I don't know. I feel like also with myself, well, not necessarily the situation, but I didn't really have like, my mom and I never really like talked about like boys. But we never had like those talks. It was always kind of like, you better not bring no baby up in here. You know, it was more like that. So, and then I never really felt like I had like a healthy relationship to look at. So I've always felt like my picker was just off. And that's why I try to instill in my girls, like, this is how you're supposed to be treated. This is what you don't deal with. If it doesn't seem right, it doesn't feel right. Like, no, we're not doing that. And yeah, it's just important to have those conversations. Like, yes, I was grown, and but I really felt like this dude was like decent, you know, like a decent guy, and he totally turned out not to be. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just irritated about. I was just irritated about that, and um, I'm glad that part of my life is over. But it was just really, 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 really scary when I think back about what could have went wrong, that didn't get wrong, didn't go wrong. You know, I feel like also, like, I've always had myself like in these situations that I shouldn't have been in. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, he should not have known where I lived. That's one. yeah, you've been talking to this person for X amount of years, but you don't know him. Should have never met my kid. Like, just like a bunch of shit that should not have gone down. You know what I mean? Like, but you live and you learn. Yeah, I think after that experience, it really just kind of like I really was interested in dating. I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like, I just need to like focus on me and making it work for me out here, you know, in Florida. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that situation. I don't want to give him any more energy, but I thought about that and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just ramble about his stupid self. But anyway, stop raining. My daughter stayed in her room. That's good. So anyway, I'm going to go now and try to get some sleep. I have not been sleeping. I think I got 3 hours of sleep last night. And I'm not tired now, but I am going to try to force myself to sleep, especially with us losing an hour. We already lost an hour because I'm sure it's after 2 a.m. now. So, anyway, I hope you have a good night, and I will do another video of how I met my hubby. I was thinking about talking about this relationship I had, but I don't know if I'm quite ready to go there. It was really traumatic for me, and he was verbally and physically abusive, so I haven't